On today's episode of the Nigerian Community Chronicles Podcast, we are joined by an entrepreneur whose journey is a remarkable fusion of academic brilliance, corporate experience, and cultural innovation. At just 25 years old, Ayo Akande has already built an impressive academic and professional track record. A proud alumnus of King's College, Lagos, where he also served as a prefect. Ayo went on to graduate with first-class honors in chemical engineering from the University of Lagos. His thirst for knowledge led him to earn an MSc in entrepreneurship from University College London, UCL, and an LLM in international business law. With such distinguished background, he launched his career in London's financial services sector, working as an investment banker. But Ayo's ambition extended beyond the corporate world. Noticing the underrepresentation of African cuisine in the UK's vibrant food scene, he took a bold step, founding City Jollof, a thriving food kiosk that brings the rich and bold flavors of West Africa to London streets. In just 3.5 years since moving into the UK, Ayo has transitioned from finance to food, proving that success is not solely about following the conventional path, but about creating opportunities where none exist. Beyond his entrepreneurial pursuits, Ayo is actively engaged in various business and social networks, including the Society of Petroleum Engineers, the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, King's College Old Boys Association, Watford Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Nigerian UK Golf Association, among others. His involvement in these organizations reflects his commitment to professional growth, business networking, and community building. Today, Ayo will take us through his entrepreneurial journey, the challenges of building a business in a foreign land, and the lessons he has learned in international partnerships and global business. Ayo, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Welcome to the Nigerian Community Chronicles.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and privilege to be on the podcast.
Thank you very much. Ayo, your journey from a first-class engineering graduate to an investment banker and now a food entrepreneur is fascinating. Can you walk us through that journey and what inspired your each transition?
I think you can mostly connect the dots backwards, right? And I also like to say that I have been quite lucky, right, at many points in my life, right?
Yeah.
And just to connect the dots, I finished from University of Lagos, studied chemical engineering. My best friend in university at the time, just immediately I had finished, was the one that pushed me into entrepreneurship. So we started a virtual gas station, which is similar to the gas retailers you have in most parts of Nigeria. But what we did was, because he studied petroleum engineering, so we introduced a lot of processes and a lot of safety procedures in place. And we also it was a virtual gas station, so we cut the inventories and overhead that were involved with owning an actual outlet. So we did that for a few months, and it was quite interesting, and it really exposed me into the world of business, right? And it made me realize there was so much more that I needed to learn in business, and that was beyond the technical world, technical confines of chemical engineering. And that was what led to my journey to London, where I came to study entrepreneurship. I did a master's in entrepreneurship at University College London. So I just wanted to sort of get a proper understanding of how business is run. And that led to my LLM, International Business Law, against law, because law defines any business or industry. You could meet with any industry at all. You could be faced with regulatory problems and the business is gone, right? So I also needed to not necessarily become an expert, but just
Yeah.
understand what laws guide each industry or whatever industry I so it was a business law degree, whatever industry I chose to operate in. And again, I think KC has been very influential in my life. Yeah, King's College Lagos, because it's introduced me to quite a number of people that have influenced me at critical points in my life. So immediately after my LLM, or shortly before before the end of my LLM, again, an older KC old boy advised that, look, young man, I think you're in London now. I think it's best for you to get into the financial services industry. First, London is perhaps the heart of the world, but yet it's a global financial center, and you stand a lot to gain from understanding.
Very true.
Capital flows, strategy, the way the financial markets work, and it's a great foundation for whatever entrepreneur. Because again, I've quite been entrepreneurial. I knew from the start that whatever it is I chose to do, I wanted to build it out of businesses and processes in whatever organization I choose to pitch in, right? And yeah, that was what led. Again, I was lucky, right? And meant grace, luck, whatever you choose to call it, right? And I was fortunate to get into financial services. I've built sort of the foundational skills for businesses, and it was in the course of that the City Jollof idea came to me, right?
Okay.
So as you might know, the City of London is the heart of financial services in London, right? And yeah, so the office was in the city, and every time we go for lunch, I found that there were all sorts of various dishes from across the world, but you couldn't find Nigerian or even African dishes, right? And when my friends go to lunch, they're like, okay, I'll take you to a Japanese restaurant to have lunch, I'll take you to a Thai restaurant to have lunch, I'll take you to an Italian one to have lunch. But I couldn't take them to Nigerian lunch spot, right? There are quite a few bits and pieces in central London, but those are designed for sitting styles, right? So you need to sit down to eat a proper meal, and it wasn't suitable for a work day. So I said, what's the barrier? I asked myself, what's the barrier to setting up a spot for those in the City of London to try Nigerian cuisine? And that was what led to City Jollof, and that's been the transition.
That's very interesting, and I'm sure it's inspiring for our viewers as well. Because what I noticed from what you've just said, you are in search and pursuit of information and knowledge. Because if you did not, by having that, what's the word I'm looking for? By having that interest in learning in wanting to know more, it's not going to lead you from one post to another, which is very interesting. So yes, you are right by saying you are lucky, but at the same time, you worked for it because you made the effort. I'm saying this so that our viewers can be inspired, by what you just, narrated, which is very, very good. However, looking back at your time in Nigeria, particularly at King's College, Lagos, and the University of Lagos, how did those experiences shape your mindset and approach to businesses?
I would like to say that King's College, Lagos, right, it's one of the best things that have happened to me. And that is because I don't know how to do it, right? But you find that characteristic amongst me, my colleagues, and even older and across a wide spectrum of KC old boys, right? They build a character of resilience, we call it drive, and a little bit of ambition, right? And they make it big that the world is your oyster, and there is almost nothing you can achieve. And because you've seen older boys do it, from the notable alumni we have, because you've seen them do it, it makes you also believe that, if they can do it, you can also do it, right?
True.
Right? Yeah, and I've made some of the most remarkable relationships that I still hold very dear from the KC community. So I hold King's College very dear, and the University of Lagos as well was really instrumental, especially in the area of networking.
Okay.
Right, being in Lagos,
Mm.
right, being a remarkable / prestigious institution, provided access to a wide range of captains of industries who mostly predominantly worked in Lagos. And because you were in Lagos, you could attend an industry event over a weekend or even in the evening and come back to class the following morning. And it was really helpful, especially in those formative years. It's where you are trying to sort of build your career and try to get a proper understanding of what industries to pitch your tent in. So yeah, those were really, really influential institutions in my life.
Very interesting. Very interesting. You then furthered your education with 2 master's degree in entrepreneurship and international business law. How have these academic experiences influenced your approach, to running City Jollof?
Yes, entrepreneurship basically instilled the ability to spot an opportunity.
Yes.
And to train you that the customer is king. And helps you listen to, helps you focus on the customer and helps you offer what the customer actually needs and not what you think the customer needs, because those are 2 different things in business. Many people try to provide services that they think the customer needs. But I've come to realize that you need to listen to the customer, right, and get a good understanding of what the customer actually needs and provide that service. Right, and it also helped me start small. There's a concept called the minimum viable product, and that's what we have right now on Old Street, right? And yeah, it just helps you manage risk and build a business, and that starts on entrepreneurship. On the law side, it helps us with a lot of legal procedures because City Jollof we operate in the food industry, and it's highly regulated, and we are dealing with a lot of health and safety risks, and the understanding of law, right, helps keep us in check, right. And if I didn't have a law degree, I might have struggled with engaging with regulators, engaging with the authorities, and also making sure that we operate within the specified requirements and restrictions of the law. And this has been really, really impactful degrees.
Fantastic. Well, with the permission of our editor, our publisher rather, because when he gave me your script and your bio and I was reading, I was amazed. I was like, wait a minute, even though it's not in my script, but I must ask you. So that's why I say with his permission, because I noticed that you had a promising career in London financial sector. So what was the turning point that made you leave investment banking to launch City Jollof? I mean, I'm sure our viewers would like to know. They're curious as much as I am.
I totally agree, but I'd just like to also correct a notion.
Okay.
In the sense that I don't believe that I have left financial services.
Right. Good.
Right. I don't believe that. I think I'm still both feet in the financial services.
Okay.
Right. But the turning point was, I won't say a turning point, but the point of inflection was the opportunity.
Right.
That existed. Right. And it was like it was a clarion call. It was a call to action. And yeah, there was just almost nothing. I was unstoppable. There was nothing stopping me from launching. I didn't see a barrier to launch. Let's put it that way. I didn't see a barrier to launching City Jollof. Right. So it was more of the opportunity that, look, if we do this, I think City Jollof is truly onto something really remarkable. Right. That if we do this, we can take up this opportunity in the market. This is the potential it has. right? And it is even beyond a business decision. It's also a culturally redefining moment, right? Like aside doing business, you're also creating a cultural representation.
True, very true, very true.
Of Nigeria and West Africa in the very significant part of London, which is a significant city in the world. So it was a clarion call, and the opportunity was just too big to ignore. But yeah, that was the inflection point. But I still think I'm both fit in the
right. Interesting. Still on that same point, yeah. Starting a food business, especially in a competitive market like London, comes with its challenges, obviously. What were some of these biggest obstacles you faced, and how did you overcome them?
We faced with a lot of challenges to help our viewers and any aspirees. It'll be that for them.
A lot of challenges. First is trying to get, which they have been very helpful, but trying to get them to understand the vision, and that is the authorities within
I understand.
the area, and trying to just get them to understand the mission we are embarking on, and how it is even important for the local area, right? That this goes beyond just running a food business.
Yes.
That this is again using that term, culturally redefining, right? And it came with a lot of hurdles, but perseverance, resilience helped us overcome those. And also, again, as a new business, right, cash flow is the lifeline of the business. Right. And you need to stay as an entrepreneur or the founder of a business, you need to stay on top of that, right, and make sure that the lights never go off.
That's true.
Right. So you are basically wearing multiple hats and trying to put out one fire after the other. And lastly is trying to get the customers to, because we are spreading the gospel of jollof rice. I actually spreading the gospel, right? So for many of those that haven't tried or heard about jollof rice, aside running the business, we are also promoting jollof rice. So trying to get them to understand how amazing this made, even before they try it, and selling to them, which I think I've grown a thick skin out of, and it's one of my favorite things to do now, spreading the gospel of jollof rice.
In fact, I'm going to crave the indulgence of our producer once more time, because I'm getting captivated with what you are saying, still on the same topic. In fact, I want you to spread that more, the gospel. I want you to spread it. So in that case, what makes City Jollof Rice unique in the London food scene? How has the response been from both Africans and non-Africans? Chris, spread the word.
Yes. So City Jollof, the proposition is I sometimes I'm amazed by the proposition, right? I think it's very unique to both Africans and non-Africans. And I'll pick on both sides. To non-Africans, right, quite a number of non-Africans have heard about jollof rice.
Sure.
Maybe they've seen it on Instagram or they've seen it on TikTok, on YouTube, but they've not found an opportunity to try it, right? Because probably they don't live in close proximities to Nigerian and West African restaurants.
True.
Right? So City Jollof is them bringing jollof rice to them, not at home, but at work. So you don't have to wait till the weekend to try jollof rice. You can try it at work. You can bring your friends. You can bring your co-workers. You can bring anybody to City Jollof. That's more on the non-African side.
Yeah.
On the African side, which I mean, it's part of the story. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a cultural representation.
True.
Of Nigerian and African cuisine in the city of London. So Africans want to bring their friends to try jollof rice.
Jollof rice.
Jollof rice is perhaps, I understand correctly, I think is perhaps the most iconic dish with West Africa at the moment. Right. So now they have an opportunity to bring their friends, their co-workers to come and try jollof rice. And when they come, the jollof, and I also give credit to the team behind Steve Jollof.
Okay.
The product is extremely good.
Thank you. It's good.
And they really like it. It's not just trying jollof rice. They try jollof rice and they really enjoy, right? That even their co-workers, I mean, it boosts the image of the region. Even their co-workers now believe that it is like Chinese or Indian cuisine.
Indian cuisine.
They now believe that Nigerian cuisine is, oh my God, it's so delicious. I'm going to again, and I'm going to try it again. So it's a really culturally redefining moment for us.
Thank you very much for that as well. I'm going to throw a very funny one now because I'm sure it's not only me. You too must have heard about this, what can I call it? Unending war with some African countries, including Nigeria and few others, that will fight on jollof rice. Whose jollof rice is the best? I know that fight is still going on. Very interesting fight too. Very, cultural diverse fight. I really like it. It's something of joy and fun. Under that umbrella, the representation of African cuisine is still growing, we know, in the mainstream food industry in the UK, in London. What do you think needs to change for it to be more widely accepted?
So again, this also links back to listening to the customer.
Yes.
Right. And my position might be controversial, right? But is what I've seen or what I believe works in the market, right? And this goes back to listening to the customer. I think, and again, for those of us that are exporting, because I believe City Jollof is exporting jollof rice, to a community outside of the predominantly Nigerian or African community. So we're exporting it out of Africa, right? So again, I find City Jollof, majority of our customers are non-Nigerians, non-Africans, and we're exporting it first. And what we try to do is to adjust the meal, right, to suit the palate of the customers, right? Again, listening to the customer, right? What the customer wants or what the customer needs. You find that, I'm Yoruba, and Yorubas or Nigerians like spicy food, right? But when you are exporting your product to a global audience, you find majority of your audience might not like spicy food. So that means adjusting the level of, so what we do at City Jollof is very simple. In our jollof rice, right, and majority of our dishes, they are not as spicy, or they are not even spicy, right? So that suits the palate of the non-African community, right?
Sure.
But for the Africans, we have a chili sauce. Let's call it the sauce, right? So let's call it like an ayamashi type of cheese, right? That we'll set aside. If you want some extra spice or some extra chili in your food, we can add a spoon or two after we serve it, and it's a win-win for both markets.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I think what needs to change, right, is that many food promoters should embrace the idea of adjusting their products.
Right.
And it depends on the market, right? If they're in a predominantly African market, right, or you serve in a predominantly African neighborhood, then that's fine.
That's okay. You don't need to,
But if you are trying to, and again, it goes across all spectrums of industries, like music, for example. If you're trying to sell music to the world, you sort of need to adjust it to suit what they are used to, while still maintaining the sort of ingenuity that is in your product, that is in your song. But you need to adjust it to suit, and Afrobeat has mastered that.
Yes. Yes.
So they've
agreed.
adjusted it to suit the global audience whilst maintaining the ingenuity of Africa. So the same thing we do with jollof rice, right? Adjust the palette to suit a global audience, and yeah, it's a remarkable experience.
That will lead me straight into business partnership and growth.
Yes.
We're just going to delve into that, but it's entirely up to you what you want our viewers to. Because the idea for me is how this can inspire, other generations, younger generations, and Nigerians in diaspora. So tell me, what role has networking and community support played in your journey as an entrepreneur?
I joke with my friends when I'm with my friends. I joke with them and say that one of my greatest strengths is a strong network, right? And I mean, in the beginning of this conversation, I had mentioned how many people have been influential in my life at critical points, right? And I think and your network is your network.
That's true.
And I've been a great beneficiary of a strong network, right? Both at home and in the diaspora. For example, the great job you're doing with NACE.
Thank you.
Right? Is extremely important, right? For us as Nigerians and African diaspora members to pull together and create a community that supports one another. I have benefited from that. I'm a good beneficiary of that. A lot of supporters and supporters, but again, both back home and in Nigeria. And I really believe that it is very important in anyone's journey, either in entrepreneurship or in professional life or in anything. It's important to have a strong network and community that's cheering you on. And there's nothing you want to do that someone has not done in the past. Learning from their stories, learning from them, and avoiding the mistakes they've made. I think it's extremely important. And again, very great job on Nike to sort of promote and share these stories for other people to listen from.
Thank you very much for that, and also thank you for expressing the benefit, and you think that and our viewers and Nigerian in diaspora as well will benefit. Also on the same topic, have you explored partnership or collaborations to expand? City Jollof, is that in the pipeline?
Yes, we are looking to expand.
Okay.
Right, we are actively pushing expansion opportunities across the space, right? And also on collaborations, we are also in discussions and also collaborating with both Nigerian and non-Nigerian businesses.
Okay.
Right? One of those is a business called Chapman's of London.
Okay.
Right, which is run by a young Nigerian, a lady called Tolani. Right, and we are looking to bring a bunch of Chapman's of London. When you buy jollof rice, you can have a Chapman, but I think Chapman is quite indigenous, right, to Nigeria, right. So you can also be promoting the Nigerian Chapman alongside jollof rice.
Right.
So these areas of collaboration, quite a number of other prospects within the pipeline that we are looking to explore. So indeed, I think again back to the area of community, I think we are stronger together, and it's very important for us to support each other as Nigerians in diaspora.
That's very good. With the rise of technology innovations, are there any digital strategies or innovations you are considering, for your business?
Yes, definitely. We are definitely pursuing this online order space where you can order City Jollof from online, leveraging marketplaces like Uber Eats, Deliveroo, Just Eat, right, where you can order from wherever you may be, where you can order City Jollof from that. And also, we are also trying to introduce a sort of self-checkout systems where you can pre-order before you arrive. But all of this will be technologically automated, right? So where you can pre-order and just come to pick up. Because one of the things we find is that listening to the customers, some customers don't want to queue for two.
A queue, yeah.
Right. And sometimes you find that they might stand in the queue for quite a long stretch of time, right? So where you can pre-order and just come collect your order and go. So, and yeah, also looking at a few other areas that we can apply technology to sort of ease our business flow and operations and make it more efficient.
Okay, fantastic. To end this segment, what advice would you give to young Nigerians in the diaspora who have a dream but are hesitant to take that leap into entrepreneurship?
That's what I'm about to say. I think they stick with a pinch of salt, but yeah. So they don't say that. I give that advice, right? But I think the best way to know, in many cases, if you are very passionate about anything, the best way to know is to try.
Yes.
Right. And yeah, the best way to know is to try. I was going to make a Yoruba proverb, but I am not sure. I wasn't sure.
No, please. No. Please go give Yoruba. You are Yoruba. You know, the podcast is going to cut across the divide. You understand? You know, I want us to, be free to say, no, please, you can see me. I'm dressed in my traditional, very cultural, please.
So I'm trying to think of the literal translation, but you must say that Ayo Akande. Right.
That's deep.
So if you, that basically means if you don't embark on a journey, you don't arrive. You don't
arrive. You don't come back.
Yes. So the idea is try. When you've tried, then you can come back to the story. Right. And also, again, this is personal, but I also try to live a life without regrets, right? And the regret of not trying greatly outweighs the regret of failure. Right. So if I try anything, and it goes to anything at all in life, right? If you send a message and you don't get a response back, you've sent the message.
Yes.
You want to go somewhere and the door is shut. You've gone, but the door was shut. But do not sit down on your couch, open with the expectation that the door will be shut. What if you find someone who then, again, community and support? What if you find someone who then say, okay, you know what, young man or young woman or Mr. or Mrs., please come in. Right? Again, Ayo Akande. I think the best way to find out is to try. And but again, take with a pinch of salt, right?
Yeah.
I think it's very important to try anything. Just try and try. Start small. It doesn't have to be big, right? But just make the first move. If it's a message, if it's a website, try to get that first customer. Then there'll be challenges, but just start. Right, and the idea, just start. It's just try, start.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with you 100% because I also know of a proverb that says that it's not how many times you fall that matters, but you have to be able to get up at each point and keep going.
Yes,
which means you will fall, and that is the beginning of a new point because you learn from that fall, you review yourself. And then you move on and correct all those. So I agree with you 101%. 101%. That's very interesting. I know just a few minutes ago you talked about Naked as well, which I'm sure Naked is a platform dedicated to empowering Nigerians in the diaspora, by fostering professional networks and providing valuable resources. Please tell our viewers, how important do you think such platforms are for young entrepreneurs like yours? And what value or features do you think they should look at?
So I think Naked is extremely important in many ways. And these ways are across stages. First is the community.
Right.
Naked, and it's there, like you're doing it already, right? it brings together a community of Nigerians in diaspora
Correct, yes.
who have, everyone hopes to achieve a level of success wherever you find yourself. So in that sense, who are like-minded, right? And there is also this foster, right? That foster support and values encouragement to other members in this. So it's very important, right? And in terms of creating a network, in terms of getting introductions, and even beyond that, it's also a truly vital platform to share stories.
True.
Right. So for again, there's nothing you want to do that someone has not done in the past, right?
Yeah.
And Naked provides that platform. For example, this podcast, right? Possible, the person that might benefit from this podcast might not have a direct relationship with me, right? But because of the Naked platform, I might have said something that is beneficial to someone that doesn't have a direct relationship with me, right? And I think Naked is extremely important for Nigerians in the diaspora. And if we are looking to build the future we hope to build, right? I think it's very important for us to have a Naked amongst us. And luckily, we have one.
Thank you very much for that. As a business owner, Ayo, what kind of support structures or networks do you think would be most beneficial for Nigerian entrepreneurs abroad, anywhere? In addition to Naked, of course.
Yes, in addition to Naked, I think we need to build a structure around active and passive and collective mentorship. Right. In addition to Naked, right? So a structure where every various upcoming or budding professional entrepreneur, whatever, has an active mentor that guides them along the journey. Right. I've been in the UK for close to 4 years now.
Right.
I've been in the UK for maybe 40 years. Right. With the mentorship structure, young Nigerians can learn from the experiences of older Nigerians. And in addition, again, this is, I'm not sure of a solution, but there is a challenge around cash flow and refinancing, especially for let's say new entrants into the UK financial system, right? So I think it's also important, again, maybe close related to mentorship or a community support, to build a structure that helps young Nigerians explore ways to access financing for whatever viable financing for endeavors they look to embark on. Well, yeah.
Good. As we're coming towards the end of the podcast, Ayo, please, what's next for City Jollof? Are there any plans to expand or introduce new offerings?
I'll take the new offerings first.
And that's right.
The little introduced new offerings first is a vegetarian meal.
Oh, good.
Right? So listening to the customer is very important. Again, right? You find that many of our customers, or many of our potential, not yet customers, but would-be customers, are vegetarians, right? So they don't eat meat. Jollof rice is cooked with chicken stock, right? Nigerians or Africans really enjoy protein, but these customers don't necessarily want meat or chicken or
meat. Yes.
Right. So we are looking to introduce a vegetarian type of jollof.
Okay.
And add a vegetarian casserole. Also, in the near future, we might be introducing some innovative styles of jollof rice.
Okay.
And yeah, that is still in the works. I can't really say. And a few other, say, Nigerian or West African dishes. And so the idea is just to promote Nigeria, promote Africa, and export it to the global audience. So we also have that in the works. And on on expansion, we are actively looking to expand.
Okay.
Right. Again, the store we have, the kiosk we have at the moment was intended to be a proof of concept.
Okay.
Right. So starting small.
Yeah.
Have a big vision, but start small.
Yeah.
That if you bring jollof rice to people in the city of London, would you get reception? What sort of reception?
Good.
Right.
Good.
We started small. We've now proved the concept beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Jollof rice indeed has potential of becoming a global product. So now we are looking to expand to spread the gospel further and reach a wider audience and again spread the gospel to a wider range of people. So that's that new offerings and expansions. We'll let Naked know once.
Of course. Thank you. Before we conclude, is there a message you'd like to share with our audience, especially Nigerians in the diaspora, about staying resilient and pursuing their dreams?
So I think you've picked it up in during this conversation, in the sense that there will most likely be challenges.
Yes.
Right. And the proverb said, it doesn't matter how many times you fall, but what matters is you getting back up. And right. So there will be challenges.
Definitely.
But once you have your eyes set on the ball, there are challenges to develop. Obviously. Right. But once you have your eyes set on the ball, right? Someone said life is like a bicycle. You just have to keep moving, no matter. But if you're riding a bicycle, once you stop, you stopped. You stop. You have to start.
You have to pedal again, and
But on a bicycle, once you just keep moving and you have some motion, and it doesn't matter if small or fast, but just have to
moving.
You just have to keep moving. And again, make sure the lights don't turn off. Just make sure that motion, you're content with the motion. And I mean, I've not experienced it, but what I've learned, that every overnight success takes 3 to 4 years of hard work. Right? So you put in the work, you keep moving for 3 to 4 years, then all of a sudden you become an overnight success. Right? So I think it's also important to have that staying power, that resilience, to understand that there will be challenges and it might be difficult for this long, right? But there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Fantastic.
And again, you just have to try and keep moving. That's I think that's my response.
That's a lot of wisdom and that's very deep. Now, how can people connect with you or learn more about your work and the services you provide?
Okay, we are very active. I mean, our website, cityjollof.com, is much up and running. Instagram as well, @city_jollof. We just type City Jollof on the search bar on Instagram, I think, to bring it up. And also search for us on Google, for example, City Jollof. Yeah, I think it's one of the. So yeah, our email is available online. You can DM us on Instagram. You can learn more about us through it.
Fantastic.
Or you can reach out to Naked.
Yeah. Of course, you're on our portal now. So, okay. Lastly, Ayo, what's the horizon for Ayo Akande? Are there any exciting projects or initiatives we should look forward to?
Personally, I think I'm pretty focused on City Jollof at the moment, right? And trying to get it to take off, right? And trying to just get it to take off and become an established brand, right? Personally, I don't think City Jollof is a pit stop in terms of entrepreneurship or in terms of professional development. I don't think City Jollof is a pit stop. I think there's just so much more to be done. But right now, my laser focus is getting City Jollof to take off and become an established brand, as the vision was imagined. And most that's done, I'll tell you, sir.
Ayo, thank you for sharing your inspiring journey with us today. Your story is a true testament to resilience, innovation, and the power of believing in one's dream. To our audience, make sure you follow Ayo Akande and City Jollof to stay updated on his entrepreneurial journey. Also, visit naked.org to engage with your Nigerian heritage, access business opportunities, and connect with a thriving community of professionals and entrepreneurs in the diaspora. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, stay inspired and keep chasing your dreams.
Thank you.
Bye. God bless.
Thank you.